Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers and sisters. This is episode 16, Searching for the Light. I Found Allah. This is Raya in the last episode, I came to the point of my second marriage when my daughter intervened, and actually it was Allah that made this happen, where a man came from all the way from Saudi Arabia to United States to see many people that had problem with a health problem, jinn problem, deen problem. He's was a famous sheikh, and he traveled in different cities in the United States, and somehow I was able to meet with him, and I met him like on a Wednesday. The following Wednesday I was married to him. This is qadar of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, when something happens, Allah wills something, we do not question it. This is what he had willed, and that's what happened. For years and years and years later, when I looked back, although there were some unfortunate situation came as a result of this marriage, so many good things also happened as a result of this marriage. Perhaps I would not be, my strength in the religion would not be the same perhaps as I am now, and of course I still have a long ways to go, had it not been for this man in my life. It just so happened I'm sitting near the sea as I'm talking about this sensitive process of my life. I'm also hearing the sound of the waves. Maybe I can show you a little bit of the sea here. It is raining now. I'm right in the middle of the rainforest. If I raise this camera so that you can see the sea, I cannot be sitting down, and I can't stand up for a very long time. Anyway, this marriage, I felt this was a blessing, because now I have a husband that could father my children. But he had told me before the marriage that he had 2 other wives in Saudi Arabia, 1 American, 1 Egyptian. This man, this chef, was Egyptian himself. And that he had a very hard life, that no matter where he went, they always wanted to give him a hard time, the authorities. As you know already, no matter which country, Muslim countries you thinking about, not all of them, but many of them, people that practice Islam very strongly are considered a threat to the national security. SubhanAllah. These rulers think they would live forever, and they keep oppressing people and persecuting the religious people, religious persons, and they keep popping back up. They just come back. And I know it would come a time when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said there would be nothing left of Islam except, when people only remember La ilaha illallah. So I feel it is even happening now. This marriage took place in 1993. From 1993, many things has happened to many countries, and a lot of persecution of Muslims, practicing Muslims, have been happening and ongoing up until now. Anyhow, he told me that he didn't have anything to offer me as far as financial security or anything like this. Even he said, I can only be here maybe a few days, then he would have to go, because one of his wives was pregnant. The other one, the American one, was an older lady that the first wife brought to him to marry because she needed help and she was not well. So the wife asked him to marry her so that they could take care of her. Ladies, are you listening to this? It takes a lot of guts. Not knowing that I would be doing that myself later on with him, with another lady. Anyhow, He said he could maybe even be in the country for a month, maybe he will not. At this time, I'm really inspired to learn from him. I am hungry for Islam, to understand, have knowledge. I only had, as you have listened to my previous episodes, I only had a Quran, that's all. All I had, my position about Islam was one Quran that I tried to teach myself the vocabulary and putting numbers on top of the Arabic and the English and memorizing this, and this is all that I had. So, subhanAllah. All I wanted, really, I was not interested in the physical part of this marriage. I was interested to learn Islam. I was interested to give my children a taste of having a father, a Muslim father, around for whenever he was going to be around. So I said I am not expecting anything from you financially. I'm able to handle everything myself. All I want from you is to learn Islam. Even if it's like 30 days and you leave, I never see you again, give me 30 days of Islam. And anyhow, we accepted, and my mother, my brother, they were there. We got married. And at the same time, my ex-husband had come to pick up the kids to take to him, and I wanted to introduce them together. And then my new husband, his face turned. He said, go away, go to another room, don't come here. He should not see you. He should not see. This was the beginning of it. Then later he told me I cannot have any connection with him whatsoever, zero. This is a huge mistake. So many of you, or some of you, if you're in this position, if you're a husband, never ever do this again with your wife and his previous husband if they have children together. It turned out that this man, my first husband, who had become Muslim, I had explained this in previous episodes, he was not practicing, I was not practicing, but he didn't have any problem with Islam. When he behaved like this, my second husband behaved like this, and I could not even have any communication with him, he turned against Islam. He turned my kids against Islam. Islam became a black thing for him, and he did everything he can to turn my kids away from Islam, which happened at the time during the 7.5 years that I was married to the second husband, and afterwards, and up until now, what happened to my kids as a result of this was one of the reasons why my kids turned away from Islam. So beware, brothers, sisters, do not cut the mother from the ex-husband if they have kids. But however, a man has ghaira. It is very natural for him not wanting to have his wife socialize or meet and have time, spend time with the ex-husband. It has to be to the minimum. They can communicate about the kids. She should be free to communicate about the kids, because it is their kids. When you don't do that, you're going to pay for this big time, if you turn an ex-husband into anger, especially an American ex-husband that came to Islam to marry, and then this is what Islam turned out to be for him. Anyhow, I had to agree. For me, there was no question of disobeying him, because I had made dua to Allah all these years to bring me close to him and bring peace to me, and he brought this man to me. So I agreed, and this was one of the process. And then in one of the previous videos, I mentioned what happened in the process. I don't know if you have been following or not. I just covered it very quickly about the covering of the face. He asked me to cover the face, which was there was no way I'm going to do that. I ended up doing it. This was another thing. Do not force your wife to do something they're not ready to do, even though you're right about it. So what happens? She does something against her will, and as soon as she's has the opportunity, she turns away from it. Alhamdulillah, I did not turn away from it. In fact, I took my niqab off after maybe 2 or 3 years after I was divorced from him. So many things well learned, and this was again the niqab thing. And whenever when he was with me and the kids, we were invited to go to the next town, Oregon, which is next state next to California. And whenever we met with people, he wanted to give lecture to them and everything. He was extremely strict that no man and women could be meet at any time. Everything has to be separated. And that is good. This is Islamically, this is good, and it is correct. What is not correct about it, again, to be extreme about it. You know, if you're somebody, a man looked at your wife and all of a sudden, you know, the whole world has ended. So many things happen, episodes happen during this time. When I remember one time we went to Oregon and women had to wait at somebody's house while men were going to where the lecture is going to be, and then somebody sent after us and told us all the women get in the car and come to the place. So we went there, and he told me, "Did you hear it from me?" I said, "No." He said, "Then you should have stayed." He canceled his lecture just because I left with the woman without hearing from him. Again, and when he would get upset, then he would start talking to me for days and weeks, even leave the country. His reaction to whatever he thought was wrong, which I believe inshallah, Allah is the witness, I never did anything to disobey him, because I felt like I'm under a very strict observation by Allah, because I've asked him and he's answering me. And this, I had told Allah, break me into pieces and rebuild me. And this man was an expert in breaking me into pieces. He had no problem doing this. If you see him, you find him a very kind man, very soft. People love him and everything, but his soft restrictions, it basically, so many times I knew that I do not want to stay in this marriage. It was too strict for me. I couldn't even go see my nieces and nephews because they were married to somebody who is the opposite gender. I could not see them. I could not travel. I could not go anywhere. And he was only with us. He would come a few days, and as soon as he would come to the country, the whole country is like suddenly the phones would ring. We didn't have mobile phone at that time. It was a landline. Would ring and ring and ring, yeah, Sheikh Hassan come, and somebody has cancer. Oh, in New York they need lecture, and somebody has marriage problem. Oh, over in Wisconsin somebody has a gen problem. And he would look at me and he said, "What do you think?" I said, "Go. You have to help the ummah. You're not here just for us." Our marriage actually lasted 7.5 years. And in the 7.5 years, I would say maybe we were not even together 6 months. People look at this, oh my God, how could you handle this? I handled this because my purpose of this marriage was desiring to be close to Allah. And this man, he was knowledgeable. I trusted his knowledge. He was a hafiz of the Quran. He was the hafiz of the 6 books of hadith. In fact, at the beginning when we were praying, he saw me praying with my arms straight down. He says, "Now you have to put your arms, in your chest." I said, "Well, what's the difference?" And he was telling me this. Because the Shias, which was my background, the arms are straight down. And at this time, I'm not choosing I'm Shia or Sunni, because for me, I just want to follow the Quran and I want to follow the religion of Islam. And slowly, he just teaches me what is the difference. And one of this situation with the differences and the way he reacted actually is the reason why I left him. Not because I wanted to choose the other way. It's because the way he reacted. And inshallah, I will explain that to you in the next episode. Thank you for listening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.